Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily Dizzle.
I got my addictions and my problems.
Bitch, you have an easy life. Welcome back, everyone, to the Daily Dizzle. It is Monday, April 4th, 2011. Time Dizzlemits here as always. We haven't been quite so daily lately, but every so often it's good to take a week or two off, recharge the batteries, come back with something different. Today we're going to start our attempt of having some kind of schedule to work with. Instead of doing these massively long, you got 15 minutes to kill because we've got 15 minutes to air and talk about. We're going to try and bring it down closer to like the 5-minute range and maybe cover a specific topic or something a little bit more specific on a daily basis instead of jumping from movie news to box office news to anything else we can come up with. So today will be a test run of sorts. We're going to start, of course, as always, covering the weekend estimates as we usually do on Mondays. Over the weekend, Hop was able to lay claim on the #1 spot, taking in an estimated $38.11 million, which, if those estimates hold, would be the largest opening of the year so far. Jake Gyllenhaal's latest movie, Source Code, opens at #2 to over $15 million, which is pretty good about his typical range, though a lot of people are now being like, well, Jake Gyllenhaal can't technically be a big-time movie star because big-time movie stars have to open their movies to $20 million or more, and blah, blah, blah. I didn't know there was unofficial standards set by the internet community for what it takes to be a movie star, but still, if you want to really look at Jake Gyllenhaal's track record, with this film, made back half of its $32 million budget in its opening weekend, and these type of movies, even if they're worst-case performers, still make double what they open to. So at the very least, Jake Gyllenhaal will continue his good track record of making a little bit of money for whatever company he is working for. And at #3, you had the latest film from the twisted minds of the Saw series and the Paranormal Activity films, taking a page out of the Paranormal Activity playbook, going with a shoestring budget, jump scares, going for atmosphere over anything else. Seems to have paid off as Insidious opens to $13.5 million, which was on the low end of expectations for it. But still, considering it had a shoestring budget of less than $1 million, it has been released elsewhere. It has made back that $1 million already. It's the same case as the Vanessa Hudgens Beastly movie that no one wanted to see, where, well, even if you don't want to see it, whoever is seeing it is making sure that money is going into the pockets of whoever made it. Last weekend's chart topper, Diary of a Wimpy Kid 2, Roderick Rolls, ends up dropping to #4 with an extra $10 million. Took a little bit steeper of a hit than the first one at the same point. Dropped about 57%, while the other one was a little bit closer to the 55% range. However, the first one also only had about $34 million through the same point. Diary of a Wimpy Kid 2 has about $38 million, so at the very least, if it can keep up the same performance that the first one did, it might end up expanding on the audience a little bit like the opening weekend did. Some of the better performers from the last few weeks lay their claims at #5 and 6, as Limitless, with Bradley Cooper, adds another $9.5 million for the 5 spot, which puts the total at $55 million altogether, which is twice its budget, meaning the studio is starting to roll around some of that money that they're profiting from. #6, you have The Lincoln Lawyer, Matthew McConaughey going back, doing another dramatic turn. Last time he did that was 2 for the Money with Al Pacino and didn't turn out too well. However, every so often, you get a good movie with him, like A Time to Kill, which kind of made his career at first. So it's good to see that he's going back to his roots. Lincoln Lawyer added another $7 million. It is less than $500,000 away from having made back its budget. The big non-starter from last week, Sucker Punch, which could only open at #1 for Friday and failed to maintain the lead for the weekend, takes a huge hit in the second weekend, dropping almost 70% if you're looking at the 3-day numbers. If you're just looking at its Friday to Friday comparison, it's over that, which is terrible for a film. It's really going to be a wonder if Warner Brothers doesn't take more creative control for his next film, considering this is the guy that they gave the Superman franchise to. And if he can't make, hot schoolgirls with action and guns and everything else a marketable thing, what's he going to do with Superman, the thing that has been beaten into the ground at this point, where the last film was boring as shit, and most of the people who want to see Superman don't like this particular director. It'll be very interesting to see how that situation is handled as Sucker Punch continues to drop off the charts. At #8, Rango ended up taking its biggest hit yet at the box office, dropping over 50%. Of course, family movies like to drop off a little bit harder like this when there's another family movie that came out. The next 2 slots on the top 10 go to the alien genre. As at number 9, you have the stoner comedy Paul, adding another $4.3 million to bring its total to just shy of $32 million altogether. Number 10, you have Battle Los Angeles, dropping off a lot quicker than people expected it. When it first opened, they thought it might cross $100 million. Now that it's dropping over 50% every single weekend, that's not looking so likely. This weekend dropped to $3.5 million, sitting at shy of $80 million altogether, but still, it just crossed back its budget of $70 million. At number 11, Matt Damon and the Adjustment Bureau added another $2.2 million to the till. They already crossed back their budget for that, so anything that Universal is making is going to be happy for them, considering how much money they've wasted on Matt Damon over the years. If you look outside the Bourne trilogy, the last film they released for him was The Green Zone. Cost him $100 million to make, and it barely made back $30 million. So maybe that's why the Adjustment Bureau had half of the budget. Maybe they were like, well, yeah, dude, you barely made back half of this, so let's see if you can make $50 million, which it did. So congrats, Matt Damon, your career's on an upswing. Rounding out the top 12, you had the Twilight-influenced Red Riding Hood, adding another $1.8 million. That puts it at $35 million off of a $42 million budget, so the DVD's going to make money, which is a sad, sad, sad day for anyone who wanted these Twilight, Tweenie Bopper remakes of classic stories to stop. Yeah, that's all the time we've got on today's Daily Dizzle, but we do thank you guys for joining us here as always. If this is your first time checking us out, be sure to click the username Dizzlemits or go to youtube.com/Dizzlemits where you can catch up on all the other Daily Dizzles and check out our other original content in the archives as well. Be sure to check back here tomorrow as we will have the latest in anything entertainment that comes up in the meantime. On top of that, we will also have info on some Dizzlemits coverage of some awesome public events in the capital region going on next week. As we said, we will have all the details on that tomorrow. So in the meantime, keep guessing. Be sure to come back. And for the Daily Dizzle, I'm Tommy Dizzlemits. We'll see you tomorrow.